I wanted to start off with talking a little bit about my community, Grassy Narrows. We have 800 people that live in our community, and we still suffer the effects of colonialism. And in First Nation communities, we have high suicide rates, and it's 10 times the national Canadian average. And I always say, like, we're the fastest growing population. When everybody's having 2 children, we're having 8 children, but we're also the fastest dying population, which is sad. And I wanted to say, like, in my community, we suffer from mercury poisoning. 9,000 kilograms of mercury was dumped in our water system and our river system. And like in our community, we're land-based people, we're self-sufficient. We lived off the land, as did many indigenous communities across this land. And through history, through colonialism and encroachment on our lands, we started suffering these effects, and high suicide rates is part of that. And I see, like in Kenora, which is like the closest town to Grassy, we have a lot of street people that live on the streets, and they're looked down upon, and the police state really picks on our people that are on the streets, and there are victims, they are terrorized. And even my sister, when she was in California, she was a homeless person, and the police terrorized them, the homeless people in California. And so it just affects us in many different ways. And I wanted to share a story with you. In 1980s, one of our community people shot a cop in the face, and this cop came to his house, and this guy, Tom Pea, she shot the cop, killed him. And then the SWAT teams came, and everything, dogs, helicopters, they came to Grassy, and our whole reserve was shut down. And this guy eluded the cops for, I think it was 3 full days. He stayed in the forest. He said he even walked between the cops, like, you know where the cops were, like he walked there. But he ended up in prison, and he stayed there for like 20 years, and he's still alive today. But then after the blockade, 2002, in 2004, a young boy, he's 17, Geronimo Obister, he found a rusted rifle, and they shot him in the head within 12 hours. So the story itself, like thinking about Geronimo dying within 12 hours in 2004 compared to Tom Pea surviving 3 days and still being alive in prison, I just wanted to show you the regression of the attack on ANISHINAABE. It's very extreme, and that's why I'm sitting here beside him, so that you could see the similarities that we've been living with all these years since colonialism started in our communities. And part of that is, they call it environmental racism, where we are the first contact for pollutants that go into our environment. And there's so many stories I could say, like even to do with residential schools where our children were raped, and they're told that they'll never make it home. And a lot of them didn't make it home. You go to these residential schools, and there's graveyards full of little children that died. And I don't know if the story's ever been connected to where in the 1800s, like the buffalo roamed the land, and then the settlers came and they killed the buffalo. They tried to kill all the buffalo to starve us. But when they realized they could, by starving us, we didn't die. We got stronger. And that's when the Trail of Tears happened in the States, and Sitting Bull came into Canada with 200 of his community people because they're starving. We still fought, we still struggled, and we didn't give up. But then they brought the residential school into our communities and took our children away. Then they figured out, okay, their strength is their babies. And that's when they took all our children away. And that's when they started breaking our people. And they started understanding, the encroacher or the colonizer started understanding, okay, the strength of these people is their children. We're going to destroy their children. And they have effectively done that. So there's a few of us, like in each of our communities, that can see that, but the majority of our people are struggling in dysfunctional families and all this, but we try hard. And even us that defend the land, if you go to a blockade, it's not the whole 800 that go, it'll be maybe 50, because the rest are scared. And that's the one thing I wanted to say about the Bill C-51. A lot of our people are scared because they feel like if they're going to go blockade, if they're going to go and protect the land, then Stephen Harper's goons are going to go and just like treat us really deadly, like they'll probably kill our people and they'll treat us as an example. And so we know, like a few of us know this, and some of us are willing to die for the land, but a lot of our people are also scared to fight because we've been so brainwashed, we've been so attacked all these years. And when I went to Halifax in February, I saw some Mi'kmaq people, and these are some people that were in Elsipogtog, and I told them, I'm so proud of you that you're still sitting here right where the first settlers came, and you were at the first attack of the encroachment on our peoples there, and you're still here. And the other thing is you're still brown, I told them. They're so beautiful, like just physically beautiful, like when I saw them, and like I said, they're still brown, and they still knew their language. And that's the thing, the resilience of our people, that's what we carry, and the survival instinct to be alive each day, even though it's hard to live, we still survive each day. And I just got an alarming call yesterday of a woman in Nova Scotia. She told me 4 young people just killed themselves yesterday in I forget which community that was, but it's northern Manitoba. And they said that these 4 young people killed themselves, and it's ongoing. Sabaskong First Nation, which is one of our neighboring communities, was in a state of emergency. So each day is a struggle for a lot of our people. And I've just been in meetings with government, and these government people are like, maybe making, like, well, a lawyer sitting there $165 an hour, sitting there with us all day, and then our people on reserve who have lost their economic way of life from fishing and hunting, they get $200 a month from welfare, or $60. So it's like really different worlds. Like the scales are like this with my people, and then the people that use the land. And to go back to Bill C-51, I wanted to say to all the people that are fighting through immigration and all this, all the fees and all that, and Canada's putting all these paperwork in front of you, like, I want to say, welcome to my land. You're welcome here. And I was telling Hassan yesterday, like, I wish like all our people could say that to the people that are struggling to be here in Canada because of maybe at home, like it's a harder struggle with them here. Is that I wish all our people could just say, Canada, you know, F off, I can't say the word. And you know, these people, we welcome them onto our land. I welcome him to my land. And I think we need to say that more because we are Anishinaabe from this land. And we need to walk together now, like we are on this one planet, and like the policies and laws that are coming on us to destroy our spirit. Like we gotta be resilient and not let it destroy our spirit. We gotta still help each other. And if you hear of an indigenous struggle out there, you know, go out and stand with my brothers and sisters out there, because we're on a common fight. And sometimes, like there's not enough indigenous people, like I said, because of fear. And then if other people come and stand with us, then the 50 that are there, like it helps them be stronger to protect those other ones that live in fear. And I told him if I'm going to make mine short, and because I want to hear his story more, he could fill in my space of time. So I'll say thank you for listening to me. You got.
Can I ask you a bit more about logging and why it is that the community decided to start the blockade and what's happening with it right now?
How much time do I have?
5 minutes?
2 minutes?
5.
5? Okay, so you said logging and what?
Why you started the blockade and what's happening with the logging now?
Okay, we started the blockade in 2002 because, well, logging was there for, well, like they said, hundreds of years, but then in the last, well, in 2002, it was getting very rampant, and they were just doing razor cuts all over the land. And a hunter, I think that's when it finally really hit me, when a hunter told me that one weekend he saw his trap line, like where he goes and hunts, and then the next weekend he went, it was gone. And he was almost crying because he said, it's gone, my hunting ground is gone. And that's when it really hit me that we got to do something. And we've been doing youth gatherings for a long time to try and talk about nuclear waste that was going to come up to our lands and all this stuff. And then when the logging industry was like really coming closer and closer to us, that's when we decided to do the blockade. We didn't know how to do it, but the young people came and it was so easy for them. They just went in front of a logging truck and just went like that. And the logging truck stopped. So he said, oh, that's how easy it is. We were thinking like so physical, like what kind of stuff are we going to put there, barricade, and these young people just use their bodies, and it was so powerful, and it was so easy for them to do that. And it's still like that with these young people, like the new generation. It's very simple for them when they want to protect the land. And Kathleen Wynne, the Premier of Ontario, just approved logging again. It's been on a hold since 2002 because of the blockade, and we still have existing barricade and log cabin there now, sacred fire wigwam, and we still go and do ceremonies there. But the logging trucks haven't come through there since 2002, and with Kathleen Wynne's approval, they're going to probably start cutting again. So we're trying to gear up again for support. So when that does happen, that we can tell people that we need your help. We need to stop this encroachment. And I think with the new laws, Bill C-45 and all that, the omnibus law, and then Bill C-51, I'm hoping it's not going to go through, but if it does, then we face a harder fight. And with the pictures I've seen in Quebec City or Quebec, with all these young people being treated so harshly, I feel like that's what we're facing if we do a blockade against the logging trucks in the fall. So I was already talking to a few people and asking them to be ready when we do that call out for help, even to do solidarity actions within the city here. This is a really huge city, so if you do a solidarity action, then the MPs here, but they hear you. But when where we are, it's a little tiny community and nobody will listen to us. But when you're here and you mobilize and speak on our behalf, it's more powerful. Is that good?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.